Tucked away in a corner of the city was a tiny park that felt like a secret world. Lush green leaves blocked the noise, and birdsong filled the air. This was Jack's favorite place to escape the chaos, especially after the incredible email arrived. A fancy publishing company, a name that made his head spin, wanted his book. They were offering a mountain of money enough to buy pizza every day for a year, and maybe even a trip to that beach he'd always dreamed of visiting. Jack was so excited that his feet barely touched the ground as he raced to the park. He practically collapsed onto a familiar bench, a wide grin splitting his face. As he basked in the warm glow of his good news, a woman with hair like spun sunshine and eyes that held a hint of sadness sat down beside him. He recognized her from the park, but she always seemed surrounded by a group of friends, laughing and talking in a language he didn't understand. This time, though, she looked right at him and smiled. "Hi," she said, her voice like a gentle melody. "My name's Natalia." Jack, usually a smooth talker with his friends, suddenly felt like a tongue-tied mess. Jack," he stammered, his cheeks burning red. Natalia chuckled, a sound like wind chimes dancing in the breeze. They started talking, hesitantly at first. Jack learned Natalia had just moved to the city, and just like him, she was chasing a dream. But unlike Jack's dream of being a writer, Natalia's dream felt shrouded in mystery. There was a flicker of pain in her eyes whenever she spoke about the past, and Jack, sensing her discomfort, steered the conversation back to his book. He told her about the countless nights spent hunched over his laptop, the piles of crumpled paper overflowing his trash can, and the sting of rejection letters that felt like punches to the gut. Natalia listened intently, her eyes filled with a warmth that made Jack feel safe and understood. In turn, she shared stories of her homeland in Bulgaria, a place with rolling hills and vibrant markets, a far cry from the concrete jungle they now called home. As the sun began its descent, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, an awkward silence fell between them. But instead of feeling uncomfortable, Jack felt a strange sense of connection with this beautiful stranger. He gathered his courage and asked, "Would you like to see where I write?" Natalia hesitated for a moment, then a small smile played on her lips. "Sure," she said. Jack's apartment wasn't much to brag about. It was small, with mismatched furniture and books piled high in every corner. But as Natalia stepped inside, her eyes didn't focus on the clutter. Instead, they landed on the worn desk overflowing with scribbled papers and a beat-up laptop that held Jack's dreams within its hard drive. "This is amazing," Natalia said, her voice genuine. "You can practically smell the stories in here." A blush crept up Jack's neck, but this time it was a blush of pride. He offered her a chair, and for the next few hours they were lost in their world. Jack read her passages from his book, his voice filled with nervous excitement. Natalia listened patiently, offering suggestions and encouragement that made Jack see his work in a new light. When the clock struck midnight, they both jumped, startled by the late hour. Natalia's smile faltered slightly. "I should probably get going," she said, her voice quiet. Jack felt a pang of disappointment. He'd never met anyone who understood him like Natalia did. But before he could voice his thoughts, Natalia surprised him. Leaning forward, she brushed a kiss against his cheek, a kiss that sent shivers down his spine. "Thank you for tonight, Jack," she whispered. "It's been a long time since anyone has made me feel this safe." With that, she slipped out of the apartment, leaving Jack standing there, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. He stared out the window, watching her disappear into the night, a million questions swirling in his mind. Who was Natalia? What secrets did her past hold? And most importantly, would he see her again? Nights became a regular occurrence for Jack and Natalia. The park became their favorite meeting place, but sometimes they'd simply sit by the river, watching the sun paint the water with streaks of gold and orange, comfortable silences punctuated by the gentle lapping of waves against the shore. One evening, as they strolled through a park bathed in the soft glow of string lights, Natalia finally decided to open up about her past. They settled on a secluded bench, the only sound the chirping of crickets and the distant hum of the city. Taking a deep breath, Natalia began to speak. She recounted the arrival of a charismatic stranger who promised a life of adventure in a faraway land. Blinded by his charm and lured by the promise of a better life, Natalia agreed to leave everything behind. The reality, however, was far from the glittering dreams he'd painted. She found herself trapped in a web of deceit and forced into a life she never imagined. Her charmer worked for the mafia and recruited her for prostitution. This was her worst nightmare. Fear became her constant companion, hope a distant flicker in the darkness. But Natalia, with a strength that belied her gentle demeanor, refused to give up. She taught herself English and secretly saved snippets of her earnings until she was able to pay for her freedom. As Natalia spoke, her voice trembled at times, her eyes welling up with unshed tears. Jack listened intently, his heart clenching with a mixture of pain and admiration. He reached out, taking her hand in his, and offered a silent vow of support, a promise that he would be there for her, always. As Jack's book neared completion, a new challenge arose. The publishing company, initially excited about the raw talent displayed in his writing, requested extensive revisions. Discouragement threatened to engulf Jack, the sting of rejection a familiar ache. But this time, he wasn't alone. Natalia, with her unwavering belief in him, became his biggest cheerleader. She spent countless evenings reading his revised chapters, offering constructive criticism and endless encouragement. Finally, the day arrived, the day Jack received the final email from the publishing company. His heart pounded in his chest as he clicked it open. It wasn't a rejection, but an enthusiastic acceptance. Tears welled up in Jack's eyes, a mix of relief and joy washing over him. He looked at Natalia, who was beaming back at him, her eyes shining with pride. They embraced a silent celebration of his victory, a testament to the strength they found in each other. They got married in a small ceremony surrounded by close friends, Natalia's radiant smile the brightest light in the room. Now, as their children grow and thrive in the warmth of their embrace, Jack and Natalia find themselves faced with a dilemma. Should they reveal the unconventional circumstances of their meeting, or keep it locked away as a secret treasure known only to them? As they ponder this question, their eyes meet in silent understanding, their hearts overflowing with love and gratitude for the miraculous journey that brought them together. And as they embrace once more, their laughter mingling with the breeze that whispers through the park, they know that no matter what the future may hold, their love will endure for all eternity. If you were Natalia, would you want your kids to know of your past?